returning for our March 8th meeting. The items we're up to is item number 4, consent items. We'd like to pull out item 4.2.5, the lease agreement for the Brickyard site.
I think the question that has come to us in terms of the community input and the timing is whether the community input process that you're talking about in advance of the RFP is really actually a conversation about what is the best use for this land, because that's the question that's being brought forward, or whether it's a conversation about already directed at how many fields or what fields or input about the fields, and maybe you could clarify that.
Well, sure. Clearly going into this, the intent has been to do soccer fields.
But what I do have is a letter from County Executive Leggett to Mrs. Brandman dated November 10th, 2009, making a factual statement. I understand that the 28-acre Brickyard Road site is largely vacant and underutilized.
It might be a matter of semantics. When the word largely vacant, we have been aware of, obviously, that Mr. Marvell has been farming this property for 30 plus years. So we know that a portion of that site has been used for this purposes, and I think that's really what largely vacant means. It doesn't imply a lack of use.
There's something that just doesn't feel right about making a decision of this magnitude, giving the community essentially 2 days' notice.
If I may quote somebody I would never ever voted for, never would have voted for, but nevertheless respect the sentiment, trust but verify. And so that is why I do not see the harm of a 2-week delay to gather more information.
I do trust that this has been looked at the issue here. If we want to talk about the gaps that exist here, I think the county has to be a little bit more forthright and proactive in notifying citizens when there is the potential of a significant change. I understand what Mr. Dice is saying in terms of you can't talk in the specifics about something you don't have. I appreciate that. And I respect that, and I think that is something that's fine. But I also believe that in this instance, given there was communication going back to 2009, it was clear that we were doing a back and forth on this issue. And the problem that exists now, and I think that creates the frustration, is that there wasn't enough of a back and forth with the community. Now, politically you may say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want somebody to gin up the defense of this. But the reality is we do have a responsibility to the public. And why I will be raising my hand against the proposal, or the proposal to extend this, and will be supporting the lease turning over to the county, is because I think it's in the good of the school system and the young people in the county. So, I understand the frustration, but I'm not going to turn that into, I'm going to delay what I think is the appropriate action. All in favor? Mr. Shi, Dr. Daka, Ms. Brandman, Mr. Barclay, Ms. O'Neill, and Mr. Durso. All opposed? Mr. Kaufman and Ms. Berthune. The motion has passed.